Excuse me. I am very sorry for that. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Star Wars Generations podcast. Today, myself and my two wonderful co-hosts are talking about Star Wars Visions Season 3. We're going to talk about the overall season. We're going to talk about some individual stories. We're going to talk about what it means for projects we're going to get in the future. And let me just start by opening it up to Aaron and Alex. Visions Season 3. What'd y'all think?
I liked it a lot. Until we chose to do this topic, I have not watched any Visions. I think you've covered some of them before on the podcast, Matthew, but I was not present if you did.
Yeah, I think I did Season 1. I think that was before you two joined on, so I think that was with Riki and Sarah.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. So yeah, I watched all of Season 1 one day after an exam because I had absolutely no energy to get off the couch. Mm-hmm. And then I watched Season 2 mostly yesterday and the day before. Season 3, I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I liked that some of the stories had follow-ups from Season 1, and they still had just a bunch of unique stories. And everything is so beautiful, the different ways they're told and the different types of animation and whatnot. It was really enjoyable. I'm glad I watched it.
Alex, what about yourself?
Yeah. I think that I still enjoyed it, but to me, the stories were not as compelling as Season 1 and 2 were for me. I still think that there's a lot of really fun stories, and there's a couple that I really, really enjoyed. But I think overall, I thought Season 1 was significantly stronger, and even Season 2 felt a little stronger to me. I don't know. It just didn't sit with me as well because I was also kind of watching them fairly quickly. It's been a very busy week, but yeah, I mean, it was still fun. There were still some good ones that I'm excited to talk about. But I think it just didn't live up to some of the hype of the earlier seasons for me. Not to be a hater.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of closer to you, Alex, in that I'm really glad this exists. I love that it exists. I also know that for people who are real lovers of animation and some of the technical and different styles of animation, this is just utter, heaven. And I'm really glad that exists. And I don't think that really, I wouldn't describe any of the three of us that way, but I know I'm really looking forward to hearing some hardcore animation types go deep on the different styles and how it's being used and all that. I do though think, Aaron, I agree with you. It's beautiful, and I really like the freedom that it gives. I like that you can explore some things that I think this is true about Rebels and Clone Wars to some extent, but there's some things that just would be hard to do live action, or wouldn't. The kind of unreality of animation almost allows for a whole new different set of storytelling.
Yeah.
I also like a lot that we have these stories that kind of exist outside of the timeline, and we'll talk about that more in a second. I think the two things that threw me most was, one, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, there were 3 different stories in here that are all follow-ups and continuations of episodes from Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few stories, right? You said?
Yeah. I think the
first
one, which is kind of the black and white Kurosawa style, which is a follow-up to The Duel. The Ninth Jedi, which we'll be talking about specifically, because that's also going to be part of a project. This one was Last Jedi. I think it's called The Child of Hope.
Yep.
And then there's a third one whose name is escaping me at the moment, but was also...
It was the one with the bear.
Yes, the one with the bear.
What? That was a follow-up?
Yeah, it's the second one. Yep.
Yeah.
Was the first episode in Season 2?
It might have been.
I think it was in Season 1.
I don't remember strongly. I do know for a fact of The Last Jedi and The Duel were both in Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that as well.
Well,
I didn't realize the bear. Go ahead.
I think kind of what we're just talking about right now is kind of my point. It felt like I didn't want to go back and rewatch all of Season 1 just so I'd be ready for this. And expecting me to have remembered it from a couple of years ago felt a little weird. I just, it's one thing to, have a show that follows up from the other thing. Having these 9 separate stories, some of which may follow up from things from the past, that to me felt a little... It just felt kind of disjointed and kind of hard to follow.
I can understand that. That certainly makes sense. I'm personally not very bothered by that, because it's I just Google it. I'm like, this feels like a sequel. What's going on? But But yeah, I do understand that it affects the kind of one-off flow of the season as a whole. And just you had mentioned something about this earlier, Matthew, and I just wanted to say something about the whole flow of this show. Like, it's so cool that they have little episodes to explore these different topics or different ideas. And I'm just like, but I want follow up on so many more of them.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
it kills me as a fan that just like, as a content whore, actually, like, it kills me. Like, I just want content about all the things that I like. And
Yeah.
it's like bittersweet with the show because it makes the episodes that resonated with me even more kind of treasured, I guess.
Yeah.
But it also leaves me salty sometimes when I watch a really good thing and I'm like, fuck, there's no follow up.
I want to know what the Jedi Crusaders are. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and so let's talk about that, because I think both the advantages, but yeah, at times also the disadvantage, because yeah, I'm a content whore too. I love the lore. I love knowing how it all fits together. Is that, as far as I understand, we're not supposed to think of any of these as being directly canonical stories. My friend Jonah Kellman, who has a wonderful podcast on the Legends books called "The Archives Are Not Complete," that I think people should definitely check out, and he's been a guest on this podcast. He described season 1. I think he'd say the same thing about season 2 and season 3. Is that in his mind, these aren't stories about the Star Wars universe. These are the stories that people in the Star Wars universe are watching on Saturday morning cartoons. You know, like these are kind of like fictional stories within the Star Wars universe, and I like that a lot. But
yeah, I think that the intention was always to kind of just let different anime studios around the world interpret, kind of make stories that are like based in the Star Wars universe and like using Star Wars, iconography and lore and imagery, but like that are totally just like self-contained, or I guess in a few instances, which is actually your point, Matthew. I prefer it when they're fully self-contained as well, instead of kind of like, here's one from, the Duel came out, 2020, 2021? Like,
2021, yeah.
Like it's been 4 years. And like that's one of the ones that actually like stuck out in my mind the strongest out of all of the Visions episodes. And that was, I think, a really, really excellent one. But even so, like I had to be like, wait, I kind of forgot what happened, and there's a sequel now, and like so it does feel like it's growing in a weird way. And I prefer it to be that kind of exactly how they described it originally, like self-contained one-off stories that are just based in Star Wars like lore, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I think the Duel is a good example of kind of both, because I loved the Duel. I thought the animation style of doing it mostly black and white, but having color for like the lightsabers and the lasers was really brilliant. And it very much evoked a lot of kind of older Japanese style, Kurosawa and things like that, as well as a lot of Japanese animation styles. And then this time they gave us a much bigger story with the continuation of it, which was called, by the way, The Lost Ones, for those people who are yelling at the screen. The Lost Ones is the third of the ones from this. That is a continuation.
I figured that out too.
Yeah, it's a follow-up on The Village Bride.
Yeah.
But yes, the first one was called The Duel Payback. And I liked a lot about this. I thought it was kind of a fun story. It introduces this, first of all, we get to have more Ewoks doing nature crimes, war crimes, and I'm always here for that. And the aesthetics
no nature crimes, just war crimes.
War crimes in nature.
Crimes using nature, not crimes against nature.
There you go. Exactly. They're the druids of the highest order. It's great. But it introduced, like, the first one was just just imagine a duel. And you think it's a Jedi and a Sith, but no, it's two Sith, and they're battling over this town, and who knows what. It doesn't matter where it fits in the storyline. It's just a great one moment in time. And then the second one, they introduce us to the idea of these Jedi Crusaders, and they reference some things from the timeline. So it's like, I think it happened after Jedi. I'm not really sure, but the Sith are still around, and the Jedi are mostly gone. But but there's this Jedi Crusader group who's clearly on the dark side. And I both loved it, but I kind of what you're saying, Aaron. I felt like either give me this as a whole thing, like give me a season of a show about this, or don't give it to me at all. Because instead of just giving me this one thing that now you're asking me to figure out where it fits into everything, but I still don't know where it fits into everything, but I want to think about it more. It just was a little frustrating.
That's fair. For me, like with this content, one thing that's really helped me get past these minor frustrations of like how I'm just used to consuming content, is that I think of these as like these happenings are so far removed. Like I think of it as anthology. You know, like you're saying,
Yeah.
it's like, well, the Empire's gone, but like there's Jedi, but there's still Sith. And I'm like, well, there could have been another Empire 7,000 years in the future. Or like even the Ninth Jedi. They're saying it has been so long since the Jedi fell, we don't even know how to make lightsabers anymore.
Right.
And that's how I've been taking in a lot of this media, is it's just so far removed that I try not to spend time figuring out where it fits in with the greater picture, because that would make me frustrated or confused, or like trying to be like, and like you're saying, it's not, thinking of it as strictly canon is just going to frustrate you.
Yeah. Agreed.
Whereas if you view it as like a story within a story, or, you know, like something that's far off from the things we know super well,
right.
I think it helps you to enjoy the entire piece of art as it is.
And I feel like a lot of these stories, at least in this season, to me especially, felt like they were, I don't know, like, it bother me or not bother me. They were, some of them were a little on the nose. Like, what I mean by that is like direct references. I mean, like the dual, like, you know, the Ewoks celebrating the fall of Vader with the music. Like, there's just like a lot of like very like almost exactly what happened in a Star Wars movie, kind of showing up in a slightly, you know, animated different way, obviously. But it happened like in multiple different things that they just took kind of like direct things from a Star Wars movie and kind of just repurposed it. And I felt like that wasn't happening in some of the earlier seasons, where it was just truly like kind of, you know, out there. And when it did happen, like I remember this one, either season 1 or season 2, there was like the pod racing kid. There was a lot of singing involved or something.
They were just singers. They weren't pod racing.
There was
You're talking about the one from season 1 where it's the band at Jabba the Hutt's place?
No pod racing.
Maybe. No, there's a pod racing one too.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen season 2. If you're talking about the singing one, that's season 1.
Either way, I don't know. It just felt like when they're a little on the nose, like I almost want like these to just kind of like be like the Ninth Jedi. I fuck with, because it's like you said, Aaron, it's so far removed. Like my brain doesn't even think like, how does this fit in, or how does this connect to things? It's just kind of like, whoa, sure, a gazillion years in the future in the Star Wars universe, electric, let's do it.
Yeah.
Or like the last episode, which was really freaking weird, where like a stormtrooper's like having a psychedelic moment as he's dying. Like, sure, that could be a Battle of Hoth, that could be anything. But that, like, I can just remove myself far enough to just kind of enjoy what's going on screen.
Yeah. The last one I'll say, I definitely was just like, this is like a lot of jazz or like a lot of other artistic pursuits where I'm like, I
100%.
recognize that you are very good at doing something that I have no interest in.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I think I'm too sober to understand this episode. But
I was like editing photos furiously and like half watching it. And every time I looked up, I was like, what is happening? Like, this man has been dying for 10 minutes and the jazz is throwing me off, bro.
Okay, I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I thought I watched them all until I opened this up to look at the episode list, realized I forgot to watch the last one. So now I can't wait. If it's just like a jazz psychedelic trip, this is going to be very entertaining while I'm doing my homework.
I looked it up, and supposedly the concept is that the stormtrooper is dying and is having like a battle in his head as he's dying.
Yeah, which I had no idea of watching it, and I was stone sober, which... If there are any kids listening to this episode, please skip ahead 30 seconds. I don't think, Aaron, that's the ideal state in which to watch this episode.
While I'm studying?
No, while you're
being sober.
Oh.
Still gonna get cross and watch it.
Say nothing more.
They're saying just get lit.
Cross.
But yeah, so let's talk about some more of the specific ones. So what'd you guys think of, we're talking about the dual payback. What'd you all think of that story?
I was so interested by that, the femme presenting Sith, her mechanical arm that turned into like 25 tiny lightsabers. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's so cool. But also, how the fuck is that functional in battle? Like, this doesn't seem helpful.
Was this supposed to be the same person who had the lightsaber umbrella in season 1, or is it someone different?
I think this is someone different.
I think he killed the person from season 1.
That's what I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's like, because we were led to believe at the start of this episode that it's like, oh, he's just continuing on his journey. He's just gonna go kill another Sith because I guess that's what he does.
Just vibing.
And I kind of like that they threw us for a loop, and I like that they brought it back, and they're like, oh, great, we killed him. And he's like, this changes nothing. I'm gonna fucking get you. And she's like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there was definitely an Asajj Obi-Wan kind of like we're fighting, we're flirting thing happening there that I appreciated.
Yeah.
A bit, for sure.
I did enjoy, like, in this one, the kind of the reverse Vader concept where, like, this guy still thinks he's a Jedi. He's like, he's this dismember becomes like, more machine than man, but like, I'm still a Jedi. I'm a Grand Master. Like, almost deludes himself, like, does delude himself into believing he's still a Jedi, but like, is actively seeking revenge. So it's like, bro, if you're gonna go Sith, just commit to the bit, brother. Like, don't try and like half-ass it and be like, I'm a Jedi.
Just corrupt the crystal already. Like, get it over with.
Like, it was just weird. It was also creepy. His like fake mouth was creepy as hell. But the last thing I just want to note, it was just that I really did enjoy the lightsaber duel in this one. I think really fun good animation of like him, like the fake Jedi kind of phasing around, and like I thought it's just a really, if nothing else, very well done, well animated, fun to watch lightsaber duel.
Yeah, I'd agree with all that. I really like the Vader reference and this idea of like the Jedi who is so Jedi that he's almost kind of becoming dark side. Because to me, that's kind of what I've always wanted to see more of. That's what I kind of thought Pong Krell was going to be until he turned out he's very much not. But I think that like,
can't wait to talk about Pong Krell.
In some of like the Star Wars Legends books, I think they definitely explore this. In the Darth Bane book, there's definitely someone who is like trying to hunt down the Sith, who's very much kind of becoming this idea. I don't think Mace Windu is. A lot of people make that allegation, but I think that idea that you so hate evil, that you so want to destroy what you see as evil, that you become just that creature of hate and evil yourself is a very real thing. And
you ever seen Death Note, Matthew?
Death Note? No, but I know that it's very much this kind
of
thing.
It's exactly what you're describing.
Yeah. And I think that's Anakin, like the killing of the Tuscans and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I thought you were going to defend the war criminal.
I was literally about to say. That's why I defend Anakin, because he's so good that he's bad.
Not the war crime.
Hey, we defend droid war criminals and furry little war criminals. I'm here to defend Anakin Skywalker, the war criminal.
Anakin's not as cute as they are.
Oh, hell no! That ain't true.
Anakin's hot, bro. I don't know what you're saying.
That's a different kind of cute.
I guess fair. An Ewok is not hot. An Ewok is cute.
Yes. There's hop into bed cute and there's tuck into bed cute. And
wow, that was an excellent description. Well,
it did make a lot of sense.
I was well done.
Aaron started to give me a face, but I was like, no, actually, those...
I might be stealing that in the future.
Yeah, no, please do. Anyway, so yeah, I liked it. I wish I knew more about the Crusader Jedi thing. So, but you're right. I think the answer we're all a little frustrated by it. We've all come to that thing of just accept it's not part of any of these, and that's okay.
Matthew, maybe you'll get your Crusader answer in another 4 years.
maybe. Vision 7. Yes.
Real quick, while we're transitioning, I have a friend coming over, so I'm gonna go unlock the door.
Okay.
And then just be away, or she'll enter sometime. But I'll tell her to just be fucking quiet.
Sometime.
Okay. Yeah. Put her in her place.
That was crazy.
There you go.
I'm quite dehydrated. People need to know.
All the liquid must be drunk.
So I'm glugging.
All right, so let's talk about the Ninth Jedi. And this is one that it is both a continuation of a story that we've already gotten. The Ninth Jedi was an episode in season 1. It's also now an episode in season 3, the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. And also, we've heard that in 2026, there's going to be an animated show, the Ninth Jedi. So we are, to some extent, getting some of these into more of the regular canon. This is a story that is set at a time when the Jedi are all but forgotten. People have forgotten even about lightsabers. I think a lot of people have assumed, therefore, that it occurs way in the future. And I think that's certainly true. I've not seen anything to know, though, that it didn't happen sometime in the 30,000 years of the past, when there's been all these wars between Jedi and Sith, and maybe
very true.
There was a time. So and there may have been something like in one of the releases about it that says in the future. So fair enough. But either so, yeah. So now we get the second chapter, which is very quick review for those who don't remember it or didn't see it. In the first one, in this world, there's this guy called the Margrove who is wanting to bring people who might still be Jedi together. He is working with someone who is crafting lightsabers, rebuilding lightsabers that no one's ever heard of for the first time, and he has made them so that their crystals will turn the appropriate color when someone holds them. And this guy, the lightsaber maker, he's attacked by bounty hunters, by Jedi hunters, who want to know the secret of what's going on. He's captured, but his daughter escapes. His daughter's been training to be a Jedi, at least as they best understand it. She goes to meet up with her mentor and some other people and to meet all these other new Jedi people, and they all together turn on their lightsabers, and in this great moment, 5 of them turn red. And it turns out that they're, more Sith types.
That was bonkers.
Yeah,
that was really good. That was one of the better,
I was
not
like,
the best.
oh shit.
Yeah, it was such a great reveal. Fight. A couple of them escape, and in this one, she's on the ship with the other kind of Jedi. They're trying to do their things, and she gets separated from them. What happens in this episode?
Well, I just want to read real quick my actual notes because I think they do a pretty good job at summing things up.
So
insane. They didn't notice Kara falling out of the ship. LMAO. Teto, cool design for a droid. Period. Ripped to the geezer in the tank. Period.
real.
Another good fight scene. Period. And then in all caps, no Teto.
Yes.
So you just gave a bunch of notes that make sense to people who've watched it, but do absolutely nothing to help the people who I was trying to help.
I'm
I
going
can
to explain
translate.
it, Matthew, but I wanted to read the notes first.
Oh, okay.
That's
go ahead.
fair. That's fair. Go ahead, Aaron.
Basically, Kara, who is the main character from the first season or the first episode, they're being tracked by bounty hunters, I guess you would call them, who happen to be the same people who took Kara's father when she was young. And in this battle in space, Kara falls out of the ship, which ridiculous they didn't notice this occurring. And finds her way to this kind of futuristic looking planet. She ends up in this giant cavernous house where she comes across this little droid, Teto, who's really cute. Right. And Teto basically begs her for help and is like, I need a Jedi to help me. Like, my master is in a Bacta tank from, how many years ago?
I think they were on a ship, though, right? Not a planet.
I thought they were on a planet.
They're on a planet.
And
okay.
Just a note.
I misread. Carry on.
The design of Teto, for those who haven't played the game, he looks an awful lot like a droid that is kind of the companion to your main character in the video game, Star Wars Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Open BD. Yeah. But yeah, basically, like Teto was like, we tried to escape the original, the Jedi, the war between the Empire and the Rebellion. And as we know, this take place fairly far in the future, is that we came here to have a peaceful existence. Teto's master was injured and now got sick and is in this Bacta tank. But there been many raids on our home, and one raid blocked my access to my master's Bacta tank. It's been decades, and so he's trying to get back to his master. And Kara helps move this giant statue with the Force so they can get there. And they find that the master had died a long time ago. The life support had failed. And Teto's like, well, you've helped me, so I'm going to help you get off this planet and get back to your friends so you can find your dad. Bounty hunters show up. A really cool fight ensues. And the only way to get Kara back to her friends is through this escape pod. And Teto sacrifices himself by giving his charge up to send Kara up to her friends as they then continue the mission to find the people that took her dad.
Yeah. Yeah, it hit hard. There was a lot of good stuff in this story. One other kind of cool reference. I don't think it's intentional. It's just a kind of cool coincidence. But for anybody who's played the game Baldur's Gate 3, and if you haven't, forgive me for a minor plot spoiler for a game that's been out for more than a year now, but there's a scene where you run into a dog, and if you can speak to animals, the dog says, please come help my master. And you have to break the news to the dog that its master is dead. And so that whole thing really evoked that. For me.
It was really sad. It was like really sad, like because like I mean like
Mhm.
I don't know, like you just there was this whole build up to like getting to the master, but like you felt like something was definitely wrong the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, of course.
And then like you get up there and like Teto was just so heartbroken. Seeing a little droid heartbroken, we've seen it
It's rough.
before, but it's hard to see. And Teto was really cute, really fun design. And then
Expressive.
sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just saying he was very expressive.
Very expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked the design of like he almost was like BD meets like Wally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like he had the Wally eyes that like would adjust and move around. And I like really enjoyed that design for this droid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when the bounty hunters show up, really fun because Kara's very unsure of herself. She's like, I'm no Jedi, like I'm just kind of like a fraud, basically. And Teto was like, no, like you helped me get to my master, like you gave me closure, like I believe in you. And Kara then like kind of believes in herself. And it's a fun little like mini overcoming doubt arc. And then she like fights these bounty hunters with the help of Teto in a really cool way. And it was again a really beautifully animated fight. Like
Mhm.
I will say, no matter what about my take on this whole season is, the lightsaber duels were extremely well animated across the board in
Agreed.
this season.
Agreed.
And then Teto like offering himself to save Kara just absolutely gutted me, and I was
Yeah.
devastated by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty tough. Oh, go ahead, Matthew. You had a train of thought. Sorry. I was going to say something else, but Matthew seemed ready.
It was pretty tough, which is funny.
Well, no, I think it really works, especially because one of the main themes of that first episode had been this idea of Kara not thinking she's a real Jedi yet, and the Force kind of agreeing with her. As I said, each lightsaber kind of turns a color, and hers is this kind of amorphous kind of green because her connection to the Force isn't that strong. And I really liked this story of like, she doesn't think she's a Jedi, but everyone around her thinks she is, and she's kind of has to become one because they think she already is one. And I thought that was just kind of a nice second step to her development that we've seen.
Yeah. I thought it was really cute how, she led Teto to his master. They find out the master has died. And she was just so apologetic. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish I could have done more, this and that. And like you mentioned, Alex, Teto's just like, thank you. Like, you brought me to master. I got my closure. I understand what happened now. And they say this with animals a lot, is that like, if you have two animals and one of them passes away, it's very valuable to show the living animal the animal that's passed away so that they understand what happened. And I feel like it was almost something similar for Teto, as he was like, yeah, that was like really fucked me up, but I'm glad that I know.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. I really love that. On that happy note,
Super fun.
another story. I do think we were getting a little bit confused, by the way, because the one with the teddy bear is not the one that had a
Yeah,
follow-up.
you're right. I realized that after I said that.
Yeah, Yuko's
You were
treasure
wrong.
is the one with a teddy bear, and it's a teddy bear droid.
Yeah.
This is the one where it's definitely aimed at a much younger audience, but I think it's really still kind of fun and cute. Where basically Yuko is what the hell was going on in this one? It felt like this one was kind of part of like 3 or 4, where it's about a child who's escaping and a droid who helps them,
Mhm.
which is kind of a fun theme, but it definitely felt like this was happening a little bit too much. But what'd you guys think of this one?
I'll be honest, I didn't know the bear was a droid for quite a while.
I didn't either till the end.
So yeah, that like, I was like, oh, a big friendly bear. Like, to me, I didn't notice that it was a repeated trope because I didn't clock that he was a robot bear.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Until they were like, I
But-
want to reprogram this bear. I was like, what?
I know. It was
Generally,
like fucking
droids in the
acolyte.
universe have not been very cuddly, so I can understand that.
Yeah, yep. I'd say that's true.
What other ones do you guys want to talk about?
Okay, so Matthew, I know Alex didn't watch this one, but Matthew,
I actually watched all of them. I ended up watching all of
you
them.
did.
Yeah.
Good job. Clearly,
But I did not like the one that you brought up.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
I thought it would be an interesting topic.
No, it is. It is.
Well,
To talk
bring it up.
about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said bring it up. Which one?
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to talk about the Bird of Paradise because I texted Alex about halfway through and I was like, "Oh, I think you should really watch this one. I think there's some good talking points."
Mhm.
And I was really loving it. When it got to the end, I wasn't thrilled with the ending, but I still thought telling a 20-minute story in chapters that have like a dedicated dark screen with a title to the chapter. I thought that was really unique and cool.
Yeah.
So kind of what are your guys' thoughts?
Well, first, why don't you quick remind us what it's about?
Yes, of course. So there's this Padawan and she's fighting this Sith. The first opening scene, it reminds me a lot of Ahsoka because she's fighting this Sith and she's like, I'm so confused. Like, I've defeated people just like you many, many times. Like, why can I not get this done? And her master rolls up and he's like, girl, stop fighting with your emotions. Like, just focus and like, don't let your anger or your frustration that this isn't going the way it usually is, like, get the best of you. And then she does a really cool flip move and gets fucked by the Sith. And at first, you know, I just assume she's dead. But later wakes up with apparently the only wounds were to her face and just kind of slicing up her eyes. So she wakes up blind. And then as the story goes on, she has like the first like 3 or 4 episodes. This is not fair. This is not fair. Like, I don't deserve this. I need a second chance. Whatever. Because she thinks she's dying. So very much like whiny brat, shut the fuck up.
Damn.
But I was excited to see, you know, how she progressed because clearly the story is going somewhere. And then at some point, there's kind of a dark side version of her introduced that's fighting her and whatnot. And she has a vision that the Sith she was trying to fight invites her to be a part of the dark side. And she accepts. And then it was all a dream. And she's like, I'm such a fool. And then she fights the dark side version of herself. And it kind of ends with her coming to this conclusion of, you're a part of me and you always have been. And I need to learn, accept, and understand, but not let you drive. Because that's not the person I want to be. And so I think that aspect of the story was pretty cool. And, you know, kind of like defeats that version of herself. But then she woke up and she could see again. And I didn't like that because
I don't think she could see. She opened her eyes and they were like completely white, like Hayden's were.
Yeah, so I do think...
I guess I didn't look at her eyes. I just looked at the things in front of her, and I assumed that's what she could see, because for the entire episode, we are seeing the world as a warped version of what she was seeing. So that's interesting.
I think I was not clear on it either. Again, I think it could have been clearer, but I did some reading into it. And rewatching it, I think this makes sense. She sees the way Kanan Jarrus does after he's blinded. Like,
through the Force.
The whole episode is about her learning to see not through her eyes, but through the Force.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't love that because I thought that could have been made more clear or just not kind of dealt with because it was such a like an add-on.
Because I took it honestly as like maybe a touch ableist. I was like, damn, so she spent this whole journey and suddenly she can see again because that's what was wrong with her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I wish that had been explained more, just been left out. But I did really love the thing because, yes, there are times where you're not sure what's a dream and what's not, especially because the Force vision that she fights looks exactly like the Sith person she was fighting. And to me, this has always been one of my favorite parts of the Jedi story, and is the idea of, like, is there a danger of the going too far into, I feel no emotion, my emotions are pointless, no one should feel emotion, you know, can that go too far? And you know, that's kind of my interpretation of parts of Last Jedi and stuff like that, is that, not that the Jedi have always been that, but certainly by the time of the Clone Wars, that was a problem with the Jedi. And that, you know, part of what Kanan Jarrus teaches Ezra is to not be afraid of his feelings, but as you said, Aaron, so well, to not let them drive, to not let them be to be in control of his emotions instead of letting them control him. And that's what I thought this story really, really did a great job of telling.
For me, she kind of annoyed me.
Oh yeah.
Like I felt like it was like for like 15 minutes. At a certain point, I yelled out. I was like, "Are you fucking over it yet?" Like, it just I just felt like I knew where it was gonna go. Like, eventually, she was gonna figure it out. And every episode, it was like, "Oh, woe is me, woe is me. Oh my god." Oh. And I'm like, "Bro, oh my god." And it's just, I think that for me, I also was kind of comparing it in my head because, essentially, we've seen this in 2 different ways. We've seen Kanan go on his own little spirit journey, but we also, in the Clone Wars, saw Yoda go on a journey where eventually he had to fight his dark side and reject his dark side. Like, accept that you're part of me, but reject you and defeat you. Like, it just felt like direct kind of rips off of the Yoda story and a little bit of the Kanan story. And so to me, it was just like, yeah, you know, I liked the message it was sending, and like I liked it, you know, sure, cool animation, but like didn't.
That's fair.
She just annoyed me.
I-
And maybe it was because I watched it in English. Maybe if I watched it in Japanese, the voice wouldn't annoy me as much.
I'm not
I
sure.
think I have kind of two thoughts there. One is that I do think it's a return to those stories, but I thought this was a more nuanced take. Like
Mhm.
Fair.
definitely with Yoda, I don't think there's a sense of like accepting these parts of him. It's much more about just like destroying them.
Defeated it. I have.
Well, no, but at the end, he
Exactly.
literally says like, "Part of me you are, accept you I do," or no, sorry, part of you I am, reject you I do, and like he like he has a whole moment with his dark side that I felt like was very comparable to this.
Yeah, to me, accept and reject is very different than not let be in control. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of
Alright.
the point. But to the other thing I'll say, I thought that it's a statement of how it's doing what it's trying to do quite accurately. Talking with Riki and others, there's an awful lot of anime. There's an awful lot of anime that is about young teenagers or tweens and takes those characters and makes kind of exaggerated versions of them,
Fair.
which do a lot of things like be really annoying kids. And it's part of why I don't like anime a lot of the time, because I find that really unpleasant. And I'm really glad for people who love it, especially kids, but people of all age. I just don't like it very much. And yeah, I had that same reaction. And to me, I was like, oh, yep, they're doing a very good job of doing an anime version of Star Wars. And I don't like this one part for the same reason I don't like it in anime.
And I usually love anime, and like I think that like the thing is that like those annoying traits are right, Matthew, and they come out sometimes. Like I mean, I'm really being into One Piece, and they'll come out because they're a kid sometimes, or it'll come out in Naruto whenever you watch it and stuff. But like, I think in those instances, like you have so many more episodes where like you're like, okay, the annoying traits, whatever, like they become like wholesome quirks when you get to know a character better.
Yeah.
Even Ahsoka was a little annoying early on, but like you begin to be like, damn girl, no, you're actually just a badass. But
Mhm.
like when you just have 20 minutes with a character, I have no time to like love her, and so I'm like, bruh, stop
Yeah.
complaining, get up, like let's go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good story. I'm really glad you brought it up, Aaron.
Thought it'd be good topic.
Any
I
other
had
last ones we want to discuss?
two I just wanted to very briefly touch on. The songs of the Four Winds I just wanted to talk about because I thought the animation there was really, really cool. That's the one where like there's like a princess with this like basically R2 astromech unit that can like play her music, and she's like going across this ice planet and comes across a village that the Empire destroyed, finds a survivor. The only survivor is this little kid of a very unique species, and then like runs into the Empire on her way out. But like the AT-ATs are like coming out from under the ice, and like there's
Mhm.
northern lights in the sky, and she like her little speeder turns into like Transformers, like Power Ranger style, like attaches to her like a personal X-wing. And also like the Empire was employing the use of those what are the really cool seismic charges that have the coolest sound in Star Wars? It was like a
Mhm.
rapid fire. And like I don't know, to me it was like really fun. And then like a reference of like, she becomes the X-wing and she's trying to find the thermal exhaust port on this Empire Imperial.
Yeah,
Like,
she pretty literally
ship?
does a trench run, if I remember correctly.
Essentially does a trench run. And
Yeah.
like again, I was like very on the nose, but I did kind of like the transformation, and like it was just very visually pleasing and like auditory pleasing between like the kind of fun music and the sound of the detonation of the seismic charges. So I kind of fucked that episode. It's kind of fun.
The episode was great. The music all throughout too. I was like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I was
ooh,
bopping.
ooh.
Yeah.
I literally put down, this is the personification of Star Wars lo-fi.
Yeah.
For real.
It was
For real.
like lo-fi, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
that one felt on the nose, but it felt so on the nose that was where I was kind of diving more into this. Like these are like the fictional stories,
Mhm.
because like it felt almost like a fairy tale,
Like a
someone
retelling.
because like there's a trench run. There's this it's a princess and it's a young kid and a droid, which by the way I mentioned earlier. But in this case, it's also a princess who's talking all the time with a Mon Calamari as they're like plotting strategy together, which is very much like Leia and Akbar.
Yep.
And so yeah, so it felt very on the nose, but it felt very like Okay, so this is like, hundreds and hundreds of years later, people are writing these fairy tales, kind of remembering the stories of Leia and Luke
Yeah.
and I just thought a mecha X-wing was a cool thing to see.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, damn,
That was
all
really
right.
fun. We have
Um,
enough kaiju, so let's get some Jaegers.
The only thing I had
Years.
written down here is like the bounty hunters one, which the very brief summary of that is that there's this young girl. She's got the part that I found most interesting. She has a droid that's a medical droid that she programmed to also be an assassin's droid. So it's like a split personality.
Mhm.
And they like basically are put in my tractor beam and like accept this job to find what this man claims to be like is a criminal, and it's really just he is a slaver, and she kind of picks up on it. You pick up on it as a viewer where you see like a kid with a collar, and he's like, I save war orphans, and that collar checks on their health. It's like, yeah, okay, bud.
Mhm.
And she ends up like at first being like, no, like I need the money, like I'm just gonna take you in, very like Asajj Ventress when she's a bounty hunter, like I'm just gonna take you in, and then kind of realizes morality wise, no, I shouldn't do that. Ends up turning on this guy, and a really cool fight ensues where he like gets into like this mecha, like just like droidica suit that was like, I don't know, it's just very,
Yeah.
like the droids in this episode were really unique, like giant droidica and like assassin medical droid were just not on my bingo board, but I was like, I like the vision here. I thought it was cool, and she ends up saving all
Fair.
the little kids. So
Yeah. As a closing thought, I want to know what you guys thought about the nanny bot / Jedi from The Smuggler.
that's what I have paid attention to. What was that one?
It was kind of similar to the bounty hunter. There's like a young outlaw and she's trying to get off this planet, but the shipyard guy impounded her ship and is like, oh, well, the price is doubled. And he's like,
Right.
but I know you're a fugitive from the Empire. And she's like, fuck you, man. And then this lady offers her a job and she's like, sure, I just need to like get these people off the planet. Come to find out they're like the prince of this planet that's been taken over by the Empire and he's a fugitive and blah, blah, blah. And this just like old ass lady is with him. And then later we find out that she's basically a droid and she's also a Jedi. She like a
Droid Jedi.
lightsaber comes out of her wrist and then forms and then goes into her palm and she fights. So that was all cool. Although maybe it was just one bionic arm, I just took it to be like Robo. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
I think
thought
she
it
was a human with just a
Yeah,
cyborg thing going on.
that was my take as well. But I did like her. I thought it was kind of a fun play on like
Mm-hmm.
Princess Diaries kind of thing, of her, being like the one who's like kind of guiding this young prince. She's kind of, like you said, she's the nanny. It was almost like kind of like a Jedi Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
was giving
Fun.
like almost Studio Ghibli in the animation style, which I liked.
Yeah. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, I think overall, like the individual episodes, like they were fun. They just were not hitting overall as hard as some of the previous seasons were. But I'm happy this exists. I would welcome another season. I just don't think I chomp at the bit for like when Vision, like I mean, as Visions came out at the end of October, I just watched it versus like any other of the main Star Wars shows come out. And I'm like on my TV refreshing Disney Plus until the freaking thing loads.
Foaming at the mouth. Like
I'm just like, next Andor episode, refresh. It's 8:01. Where is it?
Yeah, I think I'm there too. Like I still haven't seen Vision season 2, and I checked to make sure that I do think it's weird that this was continuing a lot of stuff from season 1, not season 2.
2 was just fine.
Although I think if I remember, season 2 was like moving away from just anime to a lot of other like different international animation
Yeah,
styles.
they expanded it a lot.
I'll say I think I'm kind of the same way. If there's a season 4, I'll watch it. To me, it's very much in the same kind of world as Marvel What If, because again, I am just a content whore, like you said. I'll say the one other thing I'll add though is that I really was impressed by the cast they got. All the acting I thought was quite good, but especially there's a lot of big name people. George Takei was in this.
Yeah.
Not his first time in Star Wars, but he was in. I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill voiced one of the kind of like one-off villains. Or
Really?
certainly someone who's doing a very good like Mark Hamill Joker. Like not Mark Hamill as the Joker, but Mark Hamill has done a number of other villain characters. And he sounded. And now I'm googling it. I don't find anything, so it might not have been him. But there was a number of other voices that I was like, that sounds very familiar to me. So good.
Yeah,
on
it's
them
cool. I
today.
didn't know that there were some like bigger names. I just assumed everything was kind of, I guess, from other countries, and I don't know.
Yeah.
media stars from other countries.
That makes sense. All right, I think that's all we have. Any last comments?
No, and I unfortunately did not get a quote for this week.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
that's the way it goes. Thank you all so much for listening. Stay classy, Visions World. Alex, the fact that you cut off and thus couldn't say your stay classy is kind of great.